In this video, we'll see how easy it can be to get the most accurate numbers for a potential rehab project. Numbers which include an accurate ARV, a detailed rehab estimate, and a detailed listing of holding costs so that you can be confident of your numbers going in and narrow down a very specific purchase price that meets your investment criteria. When you log into REI-Kit, you're presented with a list of your current working projects. You can filter that list by a property's address or by its status in your deal flow. For now, we're just going to create a new project. We are going to be using one of our own flips as an example so that you can see how this tool works using real numbers under real conditions. The property in question is 4715 Alamania Street in St. Louis. We bought this property off of HUD last year, fixed it up, and sold it. The listed price was about $67,000. The taxes on it were about $870. We can enter that we found it on HUD and save the URL to it for reference. We are going to set the status of this project to research to mark the property as being analyzed so that we can later find it by status in our project list. After we create the project, you can see that we have 5 additional tabs show up in the left navigation. Those are the Property Details tab, on which we are currently, the ARV tab, that lets you adjust the comps, the Project Costs tab, where you will enter all of your fixed costs, the Rehab Estimate tab, and the Analysis tab. You can skip around the tabs in any order or navigate the next and previous tabs at the bottom of each screen. So let's adjust the ARV for this property. When you first create the property, we use Zillow to get the property basics and also to get their suggested comps. In general, though, I don't recommend you use the comps suggested by Zillow, and instead, I recommend finding your own comps on Redfin, if it's available in your neighborhood, or directly from the MLS through your realtor. So these are the comps that we found on Redfin. See how they affect the ARV estimate after we replace Zillow's comps? The ARV went from around 70K to one that is almost 130K. The power of the ARV estimate tool comes from the appraisal-like adjustments that we are going to make to the comps to try to get to the same value that an appraiser would. So for example, looking at the satellite view of 4722 Alamania, I know that it has a one-space garage. I also know that a garage space has a value of about $10,000 in that neighborhood, so I'm going to adjust this comp accordingly. As a result, our adjusted ARV changed to about $123,000, which is really close to our first list price for the property, which was $124,888. Next, we'll go to the Cost tab to enter our project costs. We've done our best to pre-fill the list of all of the different potential holding, purchase, and sale costs that you're likely to experience, and sometimes forget to include when analyzing your project. One of the most often forgotten costs are transfer taxes. They don't exist in 13 states, including Missouri where this property was, but in places where they are levied, they are quite often forgotten and can significantly alter deal economics. For example, in New Jersey, on the sale of a $500,000 house, you would pay about $4,000 in transfer taxes. That amount of money can make or break your deal. If a cost is not listed here, you can always add your own as well. Now let's go to the Rehab Estimate tab. You can estimate rehab costs in 2 ways. A back-of-napkin quick estimate for when you are doing a quick analysis and generally know how much each system is going to cost. Or you can perform a detailed cost estimate where you will use our database of thousands of cost items priced indexed to the zip code of your property to build out an estimate of what your contractor bid should be. Because you may not have enough experience to know which costs to choose, we also provide you with copies of the 2 Craftsman cost books on which all of these detailed costs are based. The books explain in much more detail what is required for a particular job and can be used side by side with the tool to come up with your final estimate. So, for example, we didn't do this on the Alemania property, but say we wanted to install a new window. We can refer to the window section in the Craftsman National Home Improvement Book and then enter the cost in the estimation tool. And finally, we have the analysis section. Here you have two ways of analyzing a property, as a flip or a wholesale deal. We'll be adding more exit strategies soon as well. Here, all you have to do is enter your investment criteria, and we tell you how much you should pay for the property based on all of the other data that you entered. You can also override most data to try different what-if scenarios. So for example, here we have a purchase price that is currently defaulted to the property list price, and an ARV that comes from the adjusted ARV that we came up with earlier, and rehab costs that are defaulting to our detailed cost estimate. If we wanted 15% ROI, given a 10% rehab contingency, then our analysis guides us that our max purchase price or offer price should be about $64K. So the listing price of $67K won't work for us, and we'll have to offer a little lower. We decided to offer and eventually purchase this property at $63K, which was well within our own minimum ROI requirements of 15%, and so the deal was a go. To check if wholesaling it for $5,000 would have made more sense, using the same investor criteria of a minimum 15% ROI, our max offer would have needed to be $59,000. In the end, this was a viable flip deal. So what we would do next is go to the property details page, set it to offer status, and start working on analyzing our next property.